Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hi, I'm Jason with Jason Pollock. I am not Jason. Join Jason and Justin back in the green room as they talk with some of their favorite folks from the entertainment industry. And now, the man you haven't been waiting for, Jason Pollock.
Hi, I'm Jason, just like the show says, and I'm without Justin tonight. The guy's working because he's the talent between the two of us. But instead of Justin, I've got my guest. I'm going to bring him out. He's one of the funniest people I know. He's a comedian from New Jersey. So he's not as funny if you were from New York, but, you know, what can you do? He's one of my oldest friends in the comedy world. Let's bring him out, Bob DiBuono. Hey, where's that applause? I have a studio audience and they're not working for me. There we go. Bob, I hope you enjoyed the virtual sushi back there.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great. You had a lot of refreshments.
I do that. I do that for my guests.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, Bob.
Great to be here.
Thank you. I just told them how you're one of the funniest people I know. I thought you'd come out like a wacky dance, a big red nose. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to put pants on, but I didn't want to offend anybody. I feel a little pressure because a lot of times you have women in porn on, and I feel like I have nothing to offer,
Twice.
And I can
okay. No, I had two porn stars, technically three, but one of them is doing something else now. We didn't bring that up.
You know the story about when I met the girl who did porn. You know that story? Do you want me to share it?
You met the girl that sounds like a fable.
Yeah, it was. I thought I told you this story, but I was in Reno, Nevada, headlining about 12 years ago, and I'm on stage, and I'm, in a casino, and the Silver Legacy Hotel, and this girl in the front row was sitting by herself, and she was like cute, girl next door. And I go, oh, what do you do? What's your deal? And she goes, oh, I do porn. So right there, I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? She goes, yeah, I do porn. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's never heard that one before. And I said, really? She's like, yeah, and I'm also a prostitute here in Reno. I work at one of the ranches.
Wow, they're very open about that.
Way open. And we're 10 minutes into the show, and I'm the headliner, and I have to tell you, I was so horny hearing this that I actually forgot there was a rest of the audience was there, and I spent the next 40 minutes just talking to her.
Come on, did you really?
I mean, I kept trying to do my act, but then I end up.
Well, yeah, how do you go back to your act after that?
You don't, because my act sucks. So I'm like, is it horny, talk to girl who's a slutty porn girl, or do I talk to the audience and do impressions of my dad? And I think in my mind, it was like, we should really talk to the girl. Even my dad would have been like, I don't know what you're doing impressions of me for. Talk to the whore. Talk to the whore.
Your dad is Rich Voss?
No, Rich Voss sounds like this, okay? The other day I jerked off, I came in my eye, and I want a stuffed animal. Loosen up, okay? I got more credits than anybody. So now I can't stop talking to this girl. The show ends, and she's all over me. And the other feature guy is a local, and he's all over her. But she's not interested. I don't know. She's talking to me.
Because you're the headliner.
Probably. And so she
The only thing sexier than that is a club manager.
Right. So I go, and even the dishwasher, sometimes the dishwashers, they're Mexican, they got great hair. So I said, trying to be funny, I go, well, now that you saw me work, why don't let me see your work? Right?
Good line.
Go back to her room, my hotel room, and I go, well, I haven't got a computer. Let me see all these videos you've done. You call yourself a porn girl. Let's see your videos. So we start pulling up the videos, and the first one, I'm thinking it's going to be like vivid video. She's by a pool, like she's with some hot guy. Well, the first one is her being like railroaded by three guys, like urban, ghetto, Both of them had their socks on. One had one sneaker on. I don't even know where the other sneaker was. Hair way up in the air, afro, pick in the hair. They were sweating. They were fat. They were out of shape. And I remember being like, who are these people? Like I thought I was going to see Peter North or some hot guy.
Think about what you just witnessed, and think about how she rejected the feature. How ugly was that feature?
Not that ugly. It was normal looking. But then she shows me a video where she's being like, three guys are taking their turns with her, and they're the most unattractive men, most out of shape, sweating. And like I said, I would have accepted that, but one guy still had his socks on, and one of his sneakers was off.
One of his sneakers was off.
Yeah, and the whole time
she goes, "It happened so fast."
Yeah, and she goes, "What do you think of the video?" I go, "It's disgusting." She goes, "Why?" She goes, "The guys." I go, "No, where's that guy's sneaker? Where's the sneaker?" I'm so OCD. I couldn't even watch the video because I was like, he's got one shoe on and the other shoe is off the foot completely. Where's the shoe?
I'm willing to bet the whole video was focused on just the sex and not the sneaker, which is
it was, a point. It was shot way far out. It was horribly shot. The lighting was horrible. One guy was holding a flashlight. It was so low budget. You could see one of the gaffers or the guy holding up the sound, like you could see him in the background. Like the quality was horrible.
A friend of mine worked on a porn set and said the stench was just unbearable.
Ooh,
when you gangbang scene.
So she shows me that, and I feel sick. And I'm like, yeah, get me another video. That's horrible. So she pulls up another video, and I'm thinking maybe this one, is in, a beautiful home in a beautiful room with another girl, another guy, whatever. The next one is her filleting a guy, and she's vomiting all over his penis. And it was a fetish site where they're like puking on each other.
Is that like her go-to when someone says, "Let me show you these videos," and these are the two she goes to?
When someone says, show me the best you got," and those are the first. It wasn't like, oh, these are some videos when I first started. I would have been like, okay, you worked your way up. But the fact that they were like this, I go, what is your best stuff? Like, what is your playlist? What is show me your hits. And she shows me vomiting on a guy's penis, and then three guys out of shape, sweating, one guy missing a shoe, railroading her. And I'm like, and then she goes, well, what do you think? I go, it's disgusting. What do you mean, what do I think? So she wants to then have sex with me. And I said, I was honest. I was absolutely honest. Jason, you'd probably be mad at me. I said,
no.
Her name, if you look her up, her name was Ricky Love. And I go, Ricky, I know it's not your real name. I go, but whatever, Ricky, I can't have sex with you. And she goes, why not? And I said, because you have AIDS.
Oh my God.
And she said, laughing, like, you're kidding, right? No, I don't. I get tested all the time. I go, Ricky, look, don't embarrass yourself. I just saw the video. I'm no doctor, but I can tell you right now, you definitely have AIDS.
Good Lord.
And I said, I can't have sex with you. And I didn't.
Jumped right to AIDS.
I wouldn't have sex with her. I said, listen, I'll play around with you. I can kiss you. I'll, punch you in the tits. But I'm not gonna, I can't do it.
What about the mouth? I mean, you could have gotten a little oral out of it.
I thought, to be a gentleman, because I didn't want to get back to all her porno friends that I was like a bad, whatever, sexual guy. So I did the deed, and I kind of had foreplay with her, cunnilingus, and then I went back, and my friends were like, "That's even worse than having sex."
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you went right there. You're like,
"That's just
this woman's disgusting. Let me put my tongue there."
I didn't know. No one told me. No one told me. I asked my mother all these questions when I was young. She never told me that.
Were you looking for the missing shoe?
Imagine if it just popped out. Imagine if I just saw like the tip of a shoelace and I just started to pull at it. It was like Dr. Pimple Popper. Like they start pulling it, and the rest of it just starts coming out. It was, and my friends were like, "That is even worse." And then for I guess 3 months, I was so paranoid. I thought I had like AIDS on my face from whatever.
Could you? I'm speechless.
Yeah,
You totally rendered me
terrible.
speechless.
And then she followed me to Vegas like a month later.
She followed you to Vegas.
Yeah, I
I
was
thought
there.
you.
She saw I was playing in Vegas. And
Oh,
she
she went back to see you.
Yep. Same thing. She wanted to have sex again. I said, no, you have AIDS. And then we just fooled around, and that was it.
I just tried to look her up. I couldn't find her.
Ricky, Ricki, I think.
Oh, okay. Not wrong.
Ricky Love, brunette. She's very nice.
I'm sure she is. Most porn
And
stars
then I
that
went
met
back
anyway.
like 4 years later after that, and I was like being a guy, I was in Vegas, and I was like a lonely, and I reached out to her and I said,
Sure.
hey, no, maybe there's a few of them. This is not certain.
I mean, it fits the description, but I just put in Ricky Love Google Images.
Well, she keep no. Did you type in Ricky Love porn?
I don't know what kind of
You got to put Ricky Love porn.
Yeah, I can't show these pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to get this episode canceled. So we're just gonna have to let it slide.
So I'm not proud. What I'm saying is, I'm not like, look at me. I was with a girl who did porn. I'm like more ashamed. I mean, I look back now. I'm ashamed of myself. I met a girl that did porn. I feel good that I didn't have sex with her because I felt like that was really.
You were a gentleman.
It was very seedy, and I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. But then I also feel bad because I told her twice on 2 different occasions that she had AIDS.
Bob, how long have you been doing comedy, not porn? How long have you been doing comedy?
22 years, 23, something like that.
20 longer than that, I thought. I was going to say, when
no,
you did that,
20,
did you feel like you've arrived? Was that the moment where you're like, I've arrived as a comedian?
When I told a girl she had AIDS?
In your hotel room.
I feel like I still haven't arrived. Like I feel like don't you like we always feel like we're not where we want to be,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not, but I've managed to work myself up to some feature spots.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm kind of proud of. During the pandemic.
When I first started doing stand-up, it was about 22 years ago. I don't know, 22, 23. And like for the first 6 years, I hardly did it. I did it like once or twice a week. You do the bringer show. And then, none of your friends would show up. And then they put you up for 5 minutes at the end at New York Comedy Club. And then you bomb. And then I did that for like 5 or 6 years. And I had a day job. And then, my dad never wanted to see me go full time with a job in comedy. He was like, yeah, I don't know why you think you would ever want to do comedy because there's so many funny people out there. And I don't even know if you know how to tell a joke. Do you know how to tell a joke? You do good impressions, but I don't know if you can know how to tell a joke. And I go, well, Dad, thanks for your vote of confidence, but I think I could do it. I want to do it. And my dad wanted me in the corporate world. He wanted me to work in the sales job and make the money because he only knew sales and corporate America,
But look, I mean, was he happy that you kind of were able to do it full time? Was he proud of you?
My dad got proud of me I think really when it all came full circle is when he saw me on Comedy Central in 2016, and I got on the nightly show with Larry Wilmore, and then I think that was when my dad saw that I arrived, and I think he then really was proud of me. So since 2016, till we lost him about 2 years ago, he was very proud of. He really, you know what it is, and this is a moment of zen for all of our listeners, but. All of us in life is short. It's precious. You realize how precious it is when you lose people that you care about. And as you get older, you realize how time flies and you just got to do what makes you happy. And my dad was so obsessive compulsive about money, and he wasn't a guy that took risks. So when having a son that was wanting to do something that was really, really hard, where the payoff seems to be very, very difficult, where to get money to make a living at it, it just seemed like he didn't get it. And I understood why he didn't get it. What we do is crazy. It's a weird way to make a living and a very hard way to make a living. So he was just very, it wasn't that he wanted me to be happy. He wanted me to do what made me happy, but he was so worried I was going to fail that he was afraid to support me, with fear of like, he would give me more motivation to keep doing it and then suffering. He didn't want to see me suffer. But my mother, on the other hand, was like, you can do it. She's a very creative.
Moms love to brag. Moms are braggers.
Yeah, mom, my mom is like she's a teacher. She's very creative. She's like, everything I've ever done where I was afraid to do it, she always pushed me to do it, because my mom is more fearless and my dad was not. So if I didn't have my mother behind me, I never would have done comedy, because I wouldn't have had the confidence.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, thanks. So, I remember years ago, I had a rough, it wasn't easy for me. I had a rough life. My parents got divorced. My mom's in recovery for drinking. And then my dad caught me masturbating when I was 13. And when that happened, the other two I could handle, the divorce and my mother's drinking. But when my dad caught me masturbating at 13, which is the year I started masturbating, he caught me masturbating right when I was learning how to masturbate. And it was the most, we didn't talk for 5 years. I couldn't even look him in the eye. It was horrific. And he didn't really catch me.
I don't know if you're telling the truth or not.
No, I'm completely serious. I've never told you this. He didn't catch me in the act, number one. And by the way, I'm very private with I don't even do it probably the other way most men do it.
Because your dad, I picture your dad coming in and saying, "What are you doing? What? Use your other hand, slower."
Well, what happened was I was 13, and my friend Tommy Morris lived up the block, and I remember we went up there. We said, you have your friends in the neighborhood. You play wiffle ball and kickball. It's like the suburban, X Games. We had a cul-de-sac, and we all played Nerf football together. And Tommy, no one really, Tommy was a guy that was one of my few friends, and we would go up the street. And I remember one time I went to the bathroom and I went downstairs and we discovered this whole bookshelf of porn, like Hustler and Playboy. And when you're 12 and 13, it's like a gold mine.
It is a gold mine.
Yes. I've arrived. And so after that, I really wasn't that friendly with Tommy, but he became my best friend, because I would call him all the time and say, "Hey, why don't I come over?" And I would go over there and I would hang out with him just so I could say, "Hey, I got to use your bathroom." And I would go down, run down to his basement where the bathroom was, go to the dirty magazines, and I would pull out all the pictures in the different magazines that I really liked, and I would fold them and stuff them in my pocket. This is all true. Then I would go home and I started my own collection from his dad's dirty magazines. So one day he's like, "Dude, you can't come over and hang out with me anymore. My dad's pissed." I said, "Why? What are you talking about?" He goes, "I don't know. He said you're stealing his Hustler." I go, "What do you mean? I've never touched anything in my life." He goes, "Bob, my dad's Hustler magazine, it goes from page 1 to 7 and then doesn't pick up again from page 48 to 103. Where is the rest of my dad's magazine?" I said, "It's in my back pocket of my Levi's." He goes, "Well, you better bring it back." I go, "I can't bring it back. I'm starting my own collection." It's all true. So what happened was I was in my room once, and I wasn't caught masturbating. I was in my room, and I woke up from I guess kind of an aroused dream, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the middle of my room, and I had a hard-on, a Woody, and my dad was outside mowing the lawn. And my dad must have put the lawnmower on idle, because I could still hear the mower out my window. I just heard the something is just, my sister wasn't home. So I'm thinking, my dad's mowing, it's safe. So I'm in the middle of my room, and I was had a Woody, and all of a sudden my dad tried to open my door, and I hear the knob turning, and I'm freaked out. And I turn around and I go, "What?" And I hear my dad go, "Turn her." He goes, "Open the door." And I go, I'll be right out. I'm getting dressed. Open the door. Now, my dad in my house, if you had a door that was locked, he thought you were doing drugs or he thought you were doing something like behind his back.
Right.
And I was like the cleanest kid ever. Never did drugs, never did anything. So he had no reason to ever like think I was doing anything weird. So all of a sudden, my dad, instead of like respecting privacy of your child, he goes, "Open the door." And I said, I'll be right out. I'm getting dressed. And he goes, "Open the goddamn door." And he's banging on it. And all of a sudden I'm freaking out. And my dad was a scary guy. He was a very intimidating. He was like he could very high-tempered Italian. He was like a pit bull. And I turn around and I see the knob on my door turning. And it was like a horror film. And it wasn't locked. It wasn't locked.
Were you covered up?
This. And all of a sudden, the door slowly, it was like slow motion, it opened. And I didn't have time to get to the door to lock it. So I went to like go towards the door to lock it. The door flies open. I turn around and I'm facing the window with a heart on. So my dad just sees the back of my head and like that. Now, everyone out there, if you're a parent and you catch your child experimenting with himself, you would probably do the loving thing and the delicate thing, which would be, "Oh, sorry. Look, I'll be outside. When you're ready, I need you to help me rake the leaves." And then you walk away. But my dad stood there for what felt like 5 minutes. And while I was turned around, facing the wall with an erection, my dad said, "Turn around, turn around." And I said, "No." And he slammed the door and he stormed out.
Didn't he understand you're a 13-year-old kid?
Right. Turn around. That's going to be the name of my DVD. My live show is going to be called Turn Around. Turn
I
around.
love that you have stories I never heard before.
Turn around. And I didn't. And I was like, I couldn't make it go down fast enough. And I was like, I was so humiliated. My dad was really weird with stuff like that. My dad like would find my dirty magazines like under my bed and then just take out the whole inside of the magazine and leave the cover, which was his way of saying, "I found your dirty magazine and you're not going to be able to look at any of the good stuff." Crazy.
Yeah. I found, I don't know if I should be confessing this, but fuck it. I found a bunch of my parents in the 70s in the dresser. I found the stash, and I was like 5 years old, and I thought, these pictures, they're doing something to me. I don't know what it is, but I love these pictures. And I hid them all under my dresser in my bedroom because I didn't want to have to go searching the bureau for them. And one day I was obsessing over them, and the babysitter is knocking on the door. Come in. And she said, fuck, I screwed up my story. And the babysitter's knocking, "Can I come in?" I said, "No." And she opens the door anyway, and there I am. I didn't know about masturbation. I just knew I enjoyed these, and I felt tingly. They were all over the floor. I had a ton of them. And she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I just remember her being mortified.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she never forgot the 5-year-old kid with all the porno mags spread out all around the floor.
And by the way, to bookend the Tommy Morris saga, is years later, I didn't really see him again after that. His father, he'd always be like, yeah, I can't hang out today. But I knew it was because his dad was mad because I basically stole the inside of like half of his magazines. So years later, his dad died, and I
returned him.
Huh?
Returned him, put him in the coffin with him.
Exactly. You know where I was going with this. I went to the wake, and I took all of those folded up nudish photos, and when I went there to kneel, I just stuck. I opened. His hands were like crossed, like this, and I opened his hands and I put him in his hands.
You know, I had Alex Cole, the porn star, on my show last week. We talked about true crime and anime, and this is dirtier than any of the conversations I had with her.
Well, I was going to tell you the time
possible.
my sister caught me masturbating. I was on all fours on my twin mattress, and I didn't want to tell that one because I'm ashamed.
Your sister?
Yeah, she just walked in my door. I was 13. It was a bad year for me. She walked in. I was on my bed. I don't know. I was probably like rubbing against my pillow or something. And I jumped up and she goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And I told her I was getting undressed, which made no sense.
It's a ritual. It's a way you get undressed. It's like an OCD thing.
Right.
You got to get on all fours.
Yeah, so a lot of weird stuff happened. My mother would not put up with my dad at all. She hit my dad over the head with a plate when I was 11 and he had to go to the hospital. That's true. My mother's a tough lady. My mother's so strong that when I was in second grade and I went to school, I remember one time during lunch, I couldn't open my thermos. My mother tightened it so tightly, I couldn't open it. And then I called the teacher over. She couldn't open it. She called over an assistant teacher. They couldn't open it. I remember they had to get the custodian to come open my thermos. My mother's like a tough lady. So my mother never put up with, my dad was a screamer. He's always angry, screaming. And my mother, if he pissed her off, she would chase him down the hallway. She chased him with a chair once. And one night, I guess he got in her face and she hit him over the head with a plate. And he had to go to the hospital. And then she started crying. She couldn't believe that she did it. She felt terrible, but he was screaming at her. And she just said, I got freaked out. I just tried to shut him up. And I hit him with the plate. And
she comes off now as a very warm, loving woman.
Oh, and she is. But it's an act. She's a total, she's a fraud. So, so she hits him with the plate and he started bleeding. And my mother starts crying. She's like, oh my, hyperventilating. She's like, oh my God, we got to go to the hospital. I didn't mean it. And my dad goes, thank you. I was out of control. Imagine that. He thanks her because he was so out of control. They go to the
Dick
hospital.
Cheney?
Huh?
Your mom's like Dick Cheney.
Right. And they go to the hospital and my mother, they can't tell the doctor at the hospital, in the intake that my dad was hit over the head with a plate. That's domestic violence. So they lied. They said my dad fell down the stairs and cut his head. And then the doctor said, oh, well, do you keep plates at the bottom of your stairs? Because there's a piece hanging out the side of his head that says made in Taiwan on it.
Made in Taiwan.
Crazy, just crazy stories.
Bob, what is next for you, man?
I'm going to masturbate.
Aren't we all?
No. What's next for me? Well, now that we're coming out of the COVID thing, which is everyone wants to move on. I mean, it's almost 2 years of our lives. Think about that. 2 years has gone by like that. And
I was loving the lockdown. That was like a dream.
Well, I got freaked. I got, having OCD. I was so worried about getting COVID. Knock on wood, I haven't gotten it yet or ever. And I was like, normally I'm already nervous about stuff because I'm obsessive compulsive. So I was doing everything. I was like washing my hands. I was like, they said 6 feet. I did 12 feet.
When I came back from the store, I would strip down, throw my clothes in the wash, go upstairs, shower, change, come back again. I was a nut.
But I heard a lot of people. I heard a lot of close friends. Like one of my friends is Asian, and he would call on the phone, and I wouldn't even answer it.
You're so horrible.
Jason, I was convinced it came through the wires. Like you could get COVID through the wires. And I was just like, I can't trust Chin Chan, my friend.
Oh my God.
Because I think he's from China. And I felt bad about that. But I didn't even know if the mask would work. So I would like wear a condom. I don't know. I'm always nervous. And I perform a lot for like Hasidic Jews. And I do private events where I'm surrounded by people that are in your face coughing on you. And you just leave going, oh my God, I totally have it now. I totally have it. You're always worried you have it. But what's next for me is I miss being on the road. I miss being in front of big audiences. Like I'm doing a show. I was doing stuff here and there during the COVID down south, but not regularly. Like I do a show in South Carolina, and then for a month I didn't have shows because up north there was nothing open. So like now I'm finally getting continuity, but I really miss like the regular headlining gigs, So
Oh yeah, you haven't been doing that as much. I haven't been seeing you advertising shows anyway.
I know. Most of it's private events, doing like Donald Trump at private events.
Are people still booking you for that?
Just as much as they were when he was president. It's unbelievable. I just did
Wait, he's not president anymore?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I went to Twin Falls and did like an Idaho Republican fundraiser. And then like a week later, I'm at the Georgia Boat Parade. And then I did that viral video at rapper YG right before the election last year. So I've been working right through COVID and then doing cameos, a lot of cameos, doing Trump. So it's all that's been making
really smart. Yeah, that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, but I'm doing a Friday show.
You did Kimmel too recently, didn't you?
I did Jimmy Kimmel over the summer. I did a sketch with him, which was very funny, doing Trump, and they reached out to me, and that was cool. And I don't know. Hopefully, more cool things happen. Hopefully they keep doing it.
Good for you, man.
It's weird, right? I mean, a lot of comics are depressed. We just look our
Yeah, but you've mastered the art of the impression. That can take you far on Cameo.
Yeah. Well, I do all these other voices, but no one cares. Like they want Trump. Like Trump's the one that people like. I could do a Fauci, but people don't care about that. Trump is funny to them, So if you like him or hate him, they want Trump. But all the people that hire me, 95% love Trump. And it's funny, Jason, I can't win because when I'm in the middle and I feel like I've always said, like I play Donald Trump as him the way I do my dad or Rich Voss or anybody else. So it's like when I do liberal stuff on TV, then I can't tell you how many Republican people that follow me on Twitter or Instagram will like unfollow me because they're angry that I worked for the liberals. And then when I go do like a Georgia Boat Parade, then people that are liberal are calling me a sellout. And so I'm not on any team, and it's probably even worse because I have both sides angry at me. And it's like, well, I have to be true.
You're just doing an impression.
Right. And it doesn't, it's like I'm a painter. You came to my gallery, take a look at my drawing, and you decide what you want. If you make it what you want. If you like them, then you see in it what you like. If you don't, that's fine too. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'm not judging you. I love you for who you are, damn it.
Yeah.
And I know you do a damn good Nicholson as well.
Well, I really appreciate that. And hoping I can get on stage sooner than later.
Well, 2022, I got you coming to the candlelight, I promise.
Or how about Norm Macdonald? Hey, it's Norm there. Man, oh man, there. Man. I went to a party there and I met a girl there. And man, I love those girls there. I like American women there. You know why I like American women there? Because they're whores.
Can you do Jack on the Norm Macdonald show, or is that putting too much pressure on you?
Hey, Jack. This is Jack Nicholson. Welcome to Jack's Comedy Hour. Today we're going to talk to Norm Macdonald. Hey, it's great to be here there. Man, oh man, there, Jack there. Man, you're a great guy there. Man, one of my favorite actors there. Man, you were great in the movie Psycho there. I wasn't in the movie Psycho. I was in The Shining. Oh, you're in The Shining there. Oh, well, that movie sucked.
Well done. Little improvisation. I love it. You know what I love about you and your impressions is that you actually make jokes with them. I mean, the king is Craig Gass, of course, and Roger Kabler, but you're up there.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I worked with Craig Gass in Idaho. He was there the weekend I was there, and I did a show, a one-nighter, and then he did the next 3 nights, and I did guest spots on all of his shows. And then we got to hang out.
Yeah, he did a couple of the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling shows. He's hilarious.
Yeah, and his impressions are unbelievable. Like,
oh my God, they're spot on. His Gene Simmons, he's been doing that on Stern. It's so good.
So good. And he's back on Howard Stern now, right?
Yes. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's a sweet guy. I like him.
Yeah. Oh my God. To get him will be a dream. But
Well, they were like, God, you guys should do something together. I'm like, I know. I mean, he's out in LA. I'm here, but there's got to be. I'd like to do a Zoom show where it's just all guys who do impressions, but then we come on the show in character, so no one ever comes out of character. That would be a lot of fun. So
you'd
like,
have to be Trump, of course.
one episode could be Trump and
Trump, Gene Simmons.
yeah, Trump and Gene Simmons, and they just do like there's an interview with Trump and Gene Simmons.
I don't even know how that go, but I would pay to watch that.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be pretty
hilarious.
cool. That'd be pretty cool. But so like all of us just anxious to get back on stage. And I've had a lot of weird things happen over the couple of years, comedy things that are nightmares. I had one where I went down to North Carolina before COVID, and I always end up doing stupid things. I don't know what happens. I always end up in the middle of like some sort of controversy. But I was down there. The guy hired me to do a private event. So I go down there, and I'm at the show. It's like 100 people, and it was in a health food store. They had 100 seats in a health food store. And it was for like a company, the health food company. And the guy goes, oh, there's another comedian. His dad lives down here. I go, okay. And he goes, yeah, he's in the audience tonight. I go, who? He goes, Brad Zimmerman. He goes, do you know Brad Zimmerman? I go, I do know Brad Zimmerman. That's his dad? That's his dad right there in the 5th row. He lives here. I said, no way. Well, why is his dad at the show tonight? How did he even know about it? He goes, I don't know, but his dad lives in town, and he came out to the show with those 2 older women. I said, no way. That's funny. So I go on stage in the middle of my set. The old guy gets up and walks out with the 2 ladies in the middle of the show. But, he's old.
You know Brad Zimmerman.
I do know Brad Zimmerman.
No, you're not Brad Zimmerman. You are no Brad Zimmerman.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So his dad.
That's what your dad was saying.
Right.
He's like, God damn.
Right. And his dad is walking, but he's not walking out. He's hobbling out with like a walker and 2 old women, elderly. And it took them, it seemed like 15 minutes to get down the aisle and then out the door. So the whole time I ignored them because I didn't want to be mean. They're older, So I remember after the show, I go, that is so funny. I had one walkout, and it was Brad Zimmerman's dad. So I reach out to Brad Zimmerman on Facebook, and I go, hey, Brad, on Facebook. Hey, it's Bob. What's up, buddy? Hey, weirdest thing happened. I was down in North Carolina last week, and your dad was at my show. He writes back the next day, hey, Bob, great to hear from you. I don't think that's possible. My dad's dead.
Oh, God.
Now I felt like I felt more upset that he was telling me that I was wrong. Like I'm a little, I guess I was feeling insecure. Like, you're doubling down on telling me that I'm wrong. And so I wrote back, no, he's not. And
what
then,
if this? I'm gonna watch for this mystery on Netflix.
Yeah. So I wrote, no, he's not. And he did not respond for like a day. I think then I was like, oh shit, I think he's mad at me. And I was like, did you get my last message? He goes, yes, I did. He goes, my dad's been dead for 10 years. And I said, is that what they're telling you? And then I never heard from Brad Zimmerman again.
Oh my God.
So
you never tell if your stories are true or not, but I totally believe you right now.
That's true. It's absolutely true.
It's like Brad Zimmerman's dad is watching over you.
And I felt like saying, Brad, let's face it. Is it possible that your dad doesn't want you to know he's alive, but he does like my comedy enough to come see half my show? I mean, can I have a little conjecture and maybe hypothesize that? Because that could be an option. So that was weird. Then I'm on stage another night, right before COVID. It was actually middle of COVID, down in South Carolina. I'm on stage for 40 minutes, and a girl in the front row with her friend is pointing looking, and laughing. So the pointing's getting me. So I go, whoa, what's going on over here? Why are you? Hang on. What's? I got to stop the show, you guys. Why are you pointing at me? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, we're just. I go, no. What are you pointing at? No, nothing. I go, it's something because you're while I'm performing, you're pointing at me and you're looking up and down my body. What are you pointing at? She goes, oh, well, if you really want to know, your zipper's down. And she's like, it's been down the whole show.
I mean, that was nice for her to tell you eventually.
I was so embarrassed. So I said, I didn't want to look stupid in front of the whole crowd. So I said, I know it's down. I know. You're not telling me anything I don't know. I know it's down. There's a reason why it's down. Because I'm a prop act.
Well done.
You want to give away the closer to everyone? That's true. It really happened.
Bob, thank you so much for these stories. I friggin' love you.
It's great. These are all true. I mean, relatively true on all levels. So a lot of crazy shit.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're
What's
welcome.
next for you? What is next for you, Bob?
Well, I'm performing it. So for all the people out there that I'm performing, my website, bobdibuono.com, is my schedule. Please go to my Instagram and follow me. I put all my updates on there. And here's the biggie. I'm on Cameo. So if you want like a Trump video for Christmas, the holidays, Hanukkah, or any birthday celebrations, roasting, people can reach out to me on Instagram. And then I can, come back to you on there. And that's
Your Donald Trump is spot on, man.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. And I think what you've said is very noble. It's critical. And I think we're doing wonderfully. And we had a great turnout on this beautiful Zoom tonight. This was a great Zoom, really, maybe one of the greatest Zooms in the history of the country and perhaps even the world by far. No one comes close.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank
All
you,
right.
Bob DiBuono.
Thank you, buddy. I hope I see you sooner than later.
Me too. You're a freaking gem, and I will talk to you soon. Be safe driving to
You got it,
to
buddy.
another part of Long Island.
Up.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, later, buddy.
Thanks, Bobby.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.